In banana republics, it's usual for an incoming administration to put a target on the back of the outgoing president and his associates, to punish them and make sure that they stay gone. That's clearly what's being done to former President Trump, and by extension to those who support or defend him. In other words, you. This week, I have a couple of examples of this sort that I never thought I'd see in America. First, Rudy Giuliani, the distinguished former U.S. attorney and transformative New York mayor, and currently the personal attorney for President Trump, has had his law license temporarily suspended in New York State. Rudy Giuliani has been practicing law in New York since 1969. The reason for the suspension? According to a 5-judge panel of New York State Supreme Court's Appellate Division, Giuliani made false and misleading statements related to voter fraud in the 2020 election. Rudy has 20 days to request a post-suspension hearing. The judges said that Giuliani had made false allegations of voter fraud while serving as Trump's legal counsel after the election on radio programs and in other public statements. They claim there is uncontroverted evidence of this. According to the ruling, these false statements were made to improperly bolster respondents' narrative that due to widespread voter fraud, victory in the 2020 United States presidential election was stolen from his client. We conclude that respondents' conduct immediately threatens the public interest and warrants interim suspension from the practice of law pending further proceedings before the Attorney Grievance Committee. Well, that the election was stolen from his client is exactly what his client contends. Keep in mind, this ruling comes right at the time when the full audit of the election in Maricopa County, Arizona is going on, with results expected in a few weeks. Tabulation procedures, the use of outside money, widespread mail-in and absentee voting, and fraud facilitating changes in election law are under scrutiny in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan as well, with pressure building for similar audits and forensic analysis in those states. In key counties, we've seen huge statistical anomalies, highly suspicious vote counting procedures, and affidavits from election workers that stacks of absentee ballots marked for Biden had never been folded and looked like copies. Now, that's without even getting into unresolved questions about the hackability of voting machines. We don't have hard proof that the election was stolen, but we don't know for a fact that it wasn't either. In some places that happen to have razor-thin margins, the election appears to have been an outright mess. That doesn't mean the election would have gone to President Trump. It just means that the stonewalling to prevent a legitimate review and audit makes it impossible to know. Remember when Hillary Clinton repeatedly said that the 2016 election was stolen from her? Or when Democrat Stacey Abrams of Georgia said the Georgia governor's race was stolen from her? Do you remember anyone taking their law licenses from them? And they weren't representing someone as an attorney. They personally made the allegations. All 5 judges who gave Rudy the thumbs down are Democrats. 3 of them, if Giuliani's son Andrew is correct, having been appointed by Governor Andrew Cuomo. And the judges are wrong about this. It does not threaten the public interest to raise legitimate questions. In fact, it could be argued that doing so is very much in the public interest. Long term, it's impossible to maintain trust in a system by ignoring obvious problems and preventing a transparent examination of results. But the new administration and its media minions have christened this sincere questioning the big lie, and they must severely punish any skeptic who dares cast even the slightest doubt on Biden's legitimacy. That's what they do in banana republics. Just wondering, how many members of the New York State Bar Association have participated in the spread of the one really egregious lie, the proven lie that dominated headlines in this country for years? The Russia hoax, the lie that Donald Trump before and after his election was actually an agent of Vladimir Putin. How much did that threaten the public interest? And how many of those attorneys have had their licenses to practice law suspended? Andrew Giuliani, in a video that he posted on Twitter, said that he was infuriated and that this was a political ploy.
Any American that believes in an independent justice system, this is going after one of President Trump's closest allies. That's exactly what this is. And any American that doesn't believe that, they are just biased. This is unacceptable, and I stand by my father. He did everything ultimately by the book, and the fact that there would be this politicization in our Justice Department is disgusting. It is a cancer that needs to be cut out, and it needs to be cut out right now.
Rudy's son was extremely well-spoken and passionate about what's been done to his dad. The left, however, had to try somehow to dismiss his rant and keep him from being taken seriously, so they mocked the framing of the video and the fact that he was standing in a parking lot. The hateful and stunningly unfunny comedian Kathy Griffin questioned whether or not he was even wearing pants. This actually became the story, of course, to take attention off the real issue. Recall that in April, Rudy Giuliani was served with an FBI search warrant, and agents combed through his Manhattan apartment, taking all his electronic devices, except, of course, his copies of Hunter Biden's hard drives. How interesting that the FBI wouldn't take those, even when they were offered. Our second example of Not in America also involves the FBI. On Thursday, they showed up unannounced at the home of Casey Cusick, and they arrested and handcuffed him in front of his wife and 3-year-old daughter, who asked her mom at one point, "Why are they locking Daddy's hands?" Also arrested and handcuffed was his 73-year-old father, James, who is founder and pastor of a church in Melbourne, Florida. So what was their crime? Here's what it was. They attended Trump's January 6th rally, and they peaceably entered the Capitol building. Oh yeah, the feds are still tracking down people and arresting them for that. In fact, 32 more so-called criminals have been arrested just this month. Oh, and the 73-year-old pastor is a veteran who volunteered to fight for his country in Vietnam. According to his daughter, Stacy, James was shocked to find out why they were arresting him. He had told Stacy that he was friendly with officers inside the Capitol who even directed him to a bathroom, and that they had never told him to leave. He apparently had no idea he had done anything wrong. The double standard of justice becomes more obvious every day. Good people are harassed, even jailed, while rioters and attackers go free to commit more crimes. Well, I hope you have enjoyed watching, and if you feel like sticking it to the man, be sure and leave a comment and a like. It makes it more difficult for YouTube to hide our content within their algorithm when you do that. Also, I hope you'll consider subscribing below and clicking the notification bell. And if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, be sure to sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. It's completely free, no charge to you at all. Well, that's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.